gabi ko lapod Bicolana, marayan ugali permi pang maugma, maray makiayon, maray na amiga sa kong nagimatan pagka Bicolana. Ang sakong dakang
Ako po ay galing din po sa ALS. Dati po akong learner. Ngayon po ako po ay isa ng ALS teacher.
Sa mga teachers po, nandun din yung tulong nila sa mga materials, ipinapaabot po sa atin na ginagamit natin sa ating mga pagtuturo.
Marami na din po siyang naibigay sa aming mga kagamitan o learning materials para sa mga facilitators and ALS teachers.
The time for the pandemic, never forget the constituents. In one way or another, provide provision of food in every home, provision of some essentials for the community.
Andiyan po lagi ang kanyang suporta at hindi po kami pinapabayaan po dito sa aming barangay, lalo na po dito po sa school, na Piribulan Elementary School. Andiyan po lagi ang kanyang suporta.
Yung ating barangay LGU, parang sila sir, masyado rin silang inspired ni Mayor na tumulong sa mga school.
When Mayor Maria Esther E. Hamor took on the reins of governance in 2019, it was with a singular mission to usher in a new day for the city of Sorsogon. Armed with the 10-point agenda, she immediately set to task focusing on 10 priority areas that would push Sorsogon City forward. Two programs under her development agenda particularly zeroed in on literacy and the welfare of the students. After all, the mayor believes that education is empowerment. The focus on literacy is likewise in support of Sorsogon City's role as sub-regional center and seat of education in the province. Aside from the elementary and secondary schools run by the Department of Education under the City Schools Division, the city hosts 15 private schools. Of these, 3 offer a curricula spanning preschool to graduate studies. The opening of the Emilianum College of Law in 2001 and the Sorsogon State University Engineering Campus further raised the stakes in terms of quality education. Since the first batch of graduates, both institutions have registered bar and board passers, with the SSU being named one of the top-performing schools in engineering and architecture. In recent years, schools from the city have likewise fared well in international competitions. The Computer Communication Development Institute or CCDI Sorsogon Campus and the Lewis College have earned medals in international coding competitions, while students from the Sorsogon National High School also landed top placements in math Olympiads in Thailand and Singapore, among others. As with the other local chief executives who became before her, Mayor Hamor eagerly embraced the Sorsogon City Scholarship Program, making it a component of Sulay sa Futuro. Since its inception in 1998, when Sorsogon was still a municipality, The program has produced thousands of scholars, some of whom now occupy top posts in public and private institutions. From 2019 to 2022, the program registered 34 passers in the licensure examinations for teachers and in the Accountancy Engineering Board exams. Considering that the program is a catalyst in changing lives, Mayor Hamor further strengthened the scholarship program, effectively serving its purpose as a bridge towards the future. Sulay sa Futuro, one of two programs, is specifically focusing on education and literacy, has three categories. 1. The Academic Scholarship Program, which provides matriculation expenses and allowances to poor but deserving students on top of the human development initiatives to make for well-rounded and capable scholars. 2. Alternative Learning System Educational Assistance Grant, which provide a 2-year assistance for ALS graduates to transition into the regular education program should they decide to pursue formal schooling. And 3. Project Esther, or Education Subsidy for Tertiary Students, which provides semestral financial assistance to eligible college students enrolled in private institutions in Sorsogon City. This program also caters to college scholarship, youth development, and summer program for the employment of students. While Sulay sa Futuro is for tertiary and ALS students, Yes to Children Assistance Program caters to elementary pupils and secondary students. Acknowledging that not all parents can afford to provide school supplies for their children, the city government distributed uniform, school bags, school supplies, and rain gear to all public school pupils and students in 2021. With the pandemic getting in the way of the school year, the city also made a transition to distance learning smoother by procuring printers and reproduction machines to facilitate the distribution of modules.
With all of us working together, malalagpasan din natin ito. As we adapt to the new normal, let us continue to prioritize the health and welfare of our fellow Sorsoganos. Your city government is doing its best to rise above the challenges. Hinihingi ko din ang tulong ninyo to make the transition work. Let us put our faith in God and in each other that this too shall pass.
Also incorporated in the program is the setting up of a bakery per district to ration nutrition bread. In the absence of regular classes, the bakeries provided bread to quarantine and isolation facilities, healthcare facilities, and vaccination sites. Each of the programs under the 10-point agenda, which in 2001 evolved into the 10+1 agenda with the addition of another program, has its own literacy component as it aims to raise the level of awareness of Sorsoganons. Rounding out the 10+1 agenda are the following: Groupie, or Gender Responsiveness for Organized and Unified Persons with Disabilities, Indigents, and Elderlies, which provides cash assistance to PWDs and senior citizens.
Kaya po huwag kayong mag-alala, talaga po mahal namin kayo at hindi po namin kayo pababayaan. Iikutin po kayo ng aming empleyado, malalaman po namin kung anong malagayan ninyo. Hindi po namin kayo pababayaan, hindi po magbibigay lang kami ng pera ngayon, tapos wala na. Yan po ay dire-diretsong pagtulong. Kaya po, maging masaya kayo kahit anumang kung kaunting tulong namin na alam mo po na makakapagpaligaya sa inyo. Maraming pong salamat at magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat.
Among its components is early child care and development, which spans working with parents of preschoolers to strengthen parenting skills, supplemental feeding, and parent effectiveness seminars. Also under Groupie, PWDs were given a training on flower making, provided livelihood assistance for a PWD-run sari-sari store in Rompiolas, and continuously given seminars on laws protecting them and furthering their rights. Livelihood and skills training were also provided to street children, men's and women's organizations, and members of the LGBTQ community, among others. Tanging Yaman is devoted to agriculture, fisheries, and livestock. It conducts Farmer Field Schools, a 16-week program that provides a holistic approach to farming, with topics including natural farming and crop management, training on seaweeds processing and fiberglass bangka making, and fisheries law enforcement training. Seguridad, kaayusan, katrangkilohan, asinkauswagan, or SK3 is the peace and order component of the 10+1 agenda. Literacy activities conducted include training on tricycle franchising and traffic rules for SK3 personnel and stakeholders, enhancement seminars for barangay tanods, psychological first aid trainings for persons who use drugs or PWUDs, and basic life support training, among others. Kalusugan Mo, Sagot Ko complements the public health programs implemented by the Department of Health. Information dissemination, especially about the minimum public health standards in combating COVID-19 and other infectious disease, as well as demand generation activities to encourage vaccination, are among the literacy activities of the program, along with mothers' classes stressing the importance of a child's first 1,000 days. Gayon Sorsogon encapsulates the environmental and tourism thrust of the city government. The City Tourism Office continues to conduct Filipino brand of service excellence workshop to tourism frontliners, including hotel personnel and tricycle drivers, for them to project a positive image of Sorsogon City. The City Environmental and Natural Resources Office, on the other hand, conducts community lectures on solid waste management and other environmental topics. Taas Noo, Ciudadano Ako aims to provide mass housing for the city's urban poor. Toward this end, the Urban Poor Affairs Office, which handles the project, embarked on a series of the social preparation activities for the target beneficiaries. Merkado Ko, Orgulyo Ko is geared towards improving the city's public markets. To date, 2 major markets and 3 satellite markets have been renovated, resulting in an added sense of convenience among customers. Beyond infrastructure, the program also engages in dialogues with stall owners and market vendors to give them a sense of ownership, thereby ensuring that they maintain the cleanliness and upkeep of the city's mercados. Sorsoganon Exclusively Living for Individual Enhancement, or SELFIE, provides ID to Sorsogon City residents to facilitate services delivery. A component of the program is the Enhanced Barangay Household Inventory and Directory Assessment, which hopes to come up with a comprehensive database of each of the households in Sorsogon City. By profiling the households, the city government will have readily available data that can be referred to in addressing the needs of its constituents, as well as in planning appropriate programs. Sostenir is the +1 to the initial 10-point agenda. Acknowledging the need to mark rites of passage as a way of looking after the Sorsoganon, the program provides 5,000 pesos assistance to newlyweds, to women who have just given birth, and to families grieving the loss of a loved one.
Kami po ay nandirito para tumulong sa inyo. Ang gusto namin ay makapaglingkod sa inyo, mapasaya kayo at masabi ninyo na lahat po ng ipinangako namin ay tinutupad namin.
Since August, the program has already disbursed 10,095,000 pesos, benefiting 2,019 individuals. The spread of coronavirus all over the world brought fear and panic. The conduct of classes was suspended, as well as loss of jobs. closure of businesses, and the economy declined. Considering the importance of education, teachers believe that it need not be delayed even in the midst of this pandemic. The Bicolanos, being resilient to weather the storm just like the Pillow Tree, devised plans in order to adapt to the new normal situation. The Buena Vista Elementary School in the West District initiated enai.com, or Education for Nanay, in the community. This is a simple method to reach out to parents and deliver education in the most possible way. It is aimed to conduct workshops in guiding parents assist their children to learn even with the restriction of distance learning and intermittent to no Wi-Fi signal. To help these parents, the BES initiated campaign for laptops or tablets for the nanays where they can store the learning materials or soft copy of the class sessions, audio files for reading classes, and other educational materials needed. Strengthening the initiative of the BES, Schools Division Superintendent William E. Gando distributed 190 computer tablets. It is the division's desire to improve the performance of the pupils through interventions and material support. This intervention tool for enai.com need no internet connectivity since the downloaded learning materials can be stored directly in the gadget. For those nanays who lack the knowledge in using the gadget, there are learning facilitators who conducted sessions to a limited group teaching them on how to use the gadget, or sometimes they visit the respective homes and assist the nanay and the child. The first Inclusive Education Community Resource Center was launched at Sorsogon East Central School in February 2020 as part of the Project Gabay. This project is aimed at strengthening inclusive education for blind, deaf, and deaf-blind children, a project of the United States Agency for International Development, Resources for the Blind Incorporated, and the Department of Education. The Sorsogon East Central School is the first beneficiary of this project in the Philippines, where the aforementioned agencies donated manual braillers, digital braillers, brailler embossers, audiometer, and other materials needed by persons with disabilities. The said donation is in consonance with the city's program on Project Selfie and Project Groupie, which is tasked to give more needed benefits to the said individuals. The Lewis College, a private school in Sorsogon City, hosted the 2021 Innovation Boot Camp held on December 9 to 10, 2021, which was organized by the Center for Integrated STEAM Education Incorporated, or SISTEM, in partnership with the Department of Education in Sorsogon Province. The workshop encouraged grade 12 students to develop scientific ideas for the local community. Around 85 students from other senior high schools attended the two-day workshop, where teams were given research grants by SISTEM to actualize their study. The Energy Development Corporation launched the Oragon Learning Hub in Pamurayan Integrated School, a community engagement project of Teach for the Philippines in Sorsogon. EDC, through its employee, Raymond Estrella, made this project possible with the collaborative efforts of various stakeholders such as the LGU of Sorsogon, DepEd, and other private organizations to ensure that education must continue and no uninterrupted access to lifelong learning opportunities. In April 2021, the Kasangayahan Foundation, in coordination with DepEd Provincial Office, sponsored a trainer's training on psychological first aid, which is aimed at reducing and countering the effect of depression and stress among the people. This was attended to by the personnel of Barangay Affairs and plans to cascade it down to beneficiaries of Sulay sa Futuro and to the reformists of Balay Silangan who had undergone community-based intervention programs. The Barangay Affairs and Public Assistance Section, being the in charge of the scholarship program, will implement this training, now dubbed as Mind Game Esther, or Ensuring Sanity Targeting Empathic Response, which is a psychological first aid training to counter depression and stress brought about by this pandemic. Countering the psychological and/or emotional problem and supporting the government's provision of supplies and food bags during the lockdown, the Sorsogon National High School initiated the community pantry in the city. Replicating this move were the Buenavista Elementary School, Barangay Buenavista, and Celestino Tabuena Memorial National High School, Barangay Ginlahon, while from the private school, it was VIP Learning Center. Not to be outdone was the Sorsogon City PNP Advisory Council, where the said pantry was held at the corner of Magsaysay and Alegre Street, and in Caricaran in Bacon District. Other schools, VIP Learning Center, and other organizations followed suit. The city scholars came up with their innovation by having a community toy pantry, where toys, biscuits, and milk products were distributed directly to children in barangays San Juan East District, Barayong West District, and Rawis Bacon District last April 2021. This is a community outreach program of the city scholars. Consistent with the financial housekeeping implemented in 2019 upon assumption to office, the city mayor issued Executive Order No. 48, Series of 2020, creating the inspection team to verify and monitor status of projects of the city and endorse favorable recommendation before a program or project can be fully paid. Monitoring teams and coordinators backed up by executive order and office order were assigned to see to the efficacy of each and every program so that fund utilized must not be wasted, but it must be used for the benefit of the people. Regular meetings are held to evaluate the programs and find solutions to problem encountered. All these with Mayor Esther Hamor at the helm. The continuous audit compliance to ISO certification was regularly backed up with executive order to seriously provide the city with the support needed before the external audit. Meetings of different councils such as City Literacy, Local Council for the Protection of Children, Local School Board, Peace and Order and Anti-Drug Abuse, Senior Citizen, Women and more, which signals stakeholders' voice in governance has been in place and are regularly being conducted to ensure participation to governance and empowerment of the people in different sectors. A regular radio and social media account are being maintained by the city to allow its people access to information and program implementation update. The local government unit, aside from using social media and Tri-Media to establish transparency, has also a LED wall installed atop the PNP substation along the corner of Magsaysay and Alegre streets that keeps the people informed of the programs, specifically vaccination schedules and venue, the 10+1 agenda of this administration and the benefits derived from it, as well as tourism hubs, destinations and spots including hotels and transportation facilities, among others. Supporting the literacy program, the radio stations in the city extended their hands to the DepEd. In order to properly reach out even to far-flung barangays of the ALS on air, the DepEd City ALS Bureau coordinated with these radio stations to give an hour for this activity at no cost to the agency. A memorandum of agreement was signed for and in between the radio station and the DepEd Bureau of Alternative Learning System. Likewise, our local reporters, including the City Public Information Office, assist the office in information dissemination of important events so that it will be embolden other out-of-school youths or adults to come forward and enroll in alternative learning. The local government unit disseminates its information and provides transparency of its programs and services through the radio program. A team from the Public Information Office handles the daily program from different radio stations, inviting program managers and workers and members of the Sangguniang Panglungsod in disseminating the programs and activities. A monthly meeting among department heads and section chiefs are in place and as called for by the city mayor. The same is true with other organizations and offices and the Liga ng mga Barangay who keeps the mayor abreast of the programs, analyze and evaluate its importance, and recommend measures to address problems in case there are. The city also has a semestral newsletter which are distributed to the different barangays and in all other private and public offices for easy dissemination of information on the different accomplishments as well as local laws and ordinances. A website was also created for those who are used into using the technology, sorsogoncity.gov.ph, and is being updated at least twice a week. Extending beyond the legislative duty of the Sangguniang Panglungsod members, headed by Vice Mayor Eric Juneda, gave their share of programs through the provision of extension services. In line with the Mayor's 10+1 agenda, the Office of the Vice Mayor and the Sangguniang Panglungsod members sponsored programs and projects. Notable among this is the OCVM's distribution of foot-pedaled alcohol dispenser to different public and private establishments, including all churches, and the painting of trash bins and placed in strategic places that is usually frequented by people. He tapped groups of individuals for the painting of these trash bins, which can be now seen at Sorsogon Baywalk and Coastal Road. Following the example of the Chief Executive in bringing the services direct to the people, members of the legislative had also implemented programs such as supplemental feeding for children and giving of grocery packs to disadvantaged communities, fund of which was taken from their own pockets. Further showing support to the executive and being the chairman of the Committee on Livelihood, Cooperatives, POs, GOs, and NGOs, Councilor Mary Ellen D. Hemisola sponsored the skills training to women's group and LGBTQ. Some of women who attended the training is now earning for themselves as they sell their finished produce. One LGBTQ participant in hair and beauty care now manages a beauty salon personally supported by Councilor Hemisola herself. The Liga ng mga Barangay President Maria Teresa Perdigon sponsored soap making and is being replicated in other barangays. On the other hand, Councilor Abigail Juneda sponsored a resolution requesting the Honorable Mayor to enter into a memorandum of agreement with a donor of the parcel of land in Barangay Rizal for the construction of a multipurpose hall for livelihood training programs and activities of the local women's organization. Complementing further the Chief Executive's programs, resolutions and ordinances were passed, such as the resolution requiring all public and private establishments to set up a baby diaper changing station. Other than the livelihood training programs and outreach programs, the legislative body sponsors resolutions and ordinances in support of the Mayor's 10+1 agenda, institutionalizing the same so that this will serve the greater number of the populace even with the change of administration.
Dahil po sa suporta ng LGU, lahat po nagiging posible. Tulad na lamang po ng mga binigay po ng mga gamit sa amin. Magagamit po namin para sa pag-ano namin ng mga lessons at saka lalo na po pag sa live streaming po ng sa Radyo Eskwela.
Dumami po ang ating enrollment, dumami po ang ating mga passers, at saka ang maging mga teachers po, naging lubos ang tiwala na anumang mga bagay na pwede nating maipaabot sa ating mayor ay matutulungan tayo. Naging positibo ang ating pagpananaw, makakatulong ang ating mayor.
So, yung tulong po na naibigay sa amin, ito pong bago namin mga teachers, nagsimula po ito yung senior high school, nagsimula po ito last year. So, nagkaroon po ng 7 teacher para sa senior high school, grade 11 po. Nagsimula tayo sa grade 11 and ngayong taon, dinagdagan pa rin yun ng ating butihing mayor ng another 7. So, sa kabuuhan, meron na po tayong 40 na magtuturo sa grade 11 and grade 12 po ngayong taon. Ngayon po, lumaki po yung aming passer.
Bilang ng passers.
Opo, yung bilang ng passer lumaki po dahil sa halos lahat na po ng barangay natin, mayroon na pong alternative learning system, yung 64 barangays.
The mayor focuses on the 10-point agenda. It was never colored by any political parties, but she continues to go with the literacy program in the partnership that we have in the city government, from Brigada Eskwela to the opening of classes, and even in time of disaster. The mayor and the city government support us that would really produce a quality education, the literate, not only for formal classes but even for alternative learning system.
The 10+1 agenda has since been a byword among the constituents of the city of Sorsogon. With a fresh mandate given to her, Mayor Hamor has set her sights on a bigger and better Sorsogon, a city and a constituency whose future is bright.